Did you see any kinetic activity?
We have the bolt cutters ready to go. We call up for the clearance, and we're told that the new rules of engagement that had gone into effect meant we couldn't cut this lock.
Holy sh! That may be the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
It makes my blood boil.
There's a lock here,
to this
guys.
day. Yeah. How could you possibly have risked all of these limbs and all of these lives and then let like a little tiny gym locker stop you from this mission? My dad was an infantryman in Vietnam, as I was telling you. And then, so I had a ton of family members who had served, and it was always kind of like on the back burner. But I read this book as an 18-year-old and just thought, man, I cannot miss out on my generation's war. Like, I do not want to be the kind of person that I'm 40, 50, 60 years old, and they ask the veterans to stand at an event and I stay seated. Like, I need to go be a part of this. If this is what our nation needs, I need to go be a part of it. So I read the book, finished it, and just decided to graduate as fast as humanly possible. So took a ton of summer school, got out in 3 years, and went to basic training.
What year was that?
Went to basic in September 2007.
Okay, so way past 9/11.
Yeah.
So you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, oh yeah. So it was right during the surge, and so you were at basic training, and I did that, and then officer candidate school. But everybody was talking about the surge in Iraq and trying to get you through schools. The gaps between schools was nearly nothing because we just needed more soldiers. We needed more second lieutenants. So went through OCS, did a couple of other schools. Ended up at tank school or armor school at Fort Knox. And armor's an odd branch in the Army. You basically pair like very heavy tankers, like who are using these exquisite pieces of equipment with scouts who are kind of the lightest formation we have as an Army. So I ended up choosing the scout path, trading with a guy, finished armor school, went to Ranger school, which there are two distinct memories from all of these Army schools that stand out to me forever. One is in basic. I can remember it was like a couple of days after starting basic training, and our drill instructor Wilburn had picked somebody to lead our basic training platoon, and I thought I was more talented than that person, and I should have been the leader. So I just, after one of the formations, went up and I thought rationally explained to her why I was a better choice. And as you can expect, Shawn, that went terribly. And so I will never forget the humiliation of realizing that that is not what the Army is. And it is my job to shut the fuck up and do what I am told and not provide other commentary. And then the other one is Ranger School, where it's the only time I can truly recall. It was Mountain Phase. We were walking up a hill. I think I was carrying like a 249, and I slipped and I fell down, and I just couldn't get up. Like I was exhausted. I was tired. We hadn't eaten. I had lost 25 pounds at that point. And like, I was shaking, I was shivering, I was cold, and I was broken. It just literally is this one moment I'll never forget. You're hallucinating. And it was just this thing that growing up in the mountains of North Carolina is like a reasonably comfortable middle-class existence. You're laying there and you're thinking, oh my God, like I am past what I am capable of doing. And it's like at that exact moment, guys pull you up, they grab your weapon, they say, hey, we'll carry it for a little while. We stopped. I can remember a couple of them like hugging me to get me to stop shivering. And it's this moment of vulnerability that, like, at least for me, was like the start of this moment where I realized like these were the types of people that were going to be in my life forever. And these were the types of people that were the best among us. And it was, my wife will say of these times that had I not joined the Army, she wouldn't have married me. Like, she's very explicit about that. And it's not, it's because it
she said that?
She said it on many, even before this job, because she says it made me a much better version of myself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So then you deployed to Iraq. What year?
So got to 10th Mountain Division after Ranger School, 2nd Brigade. We were there about 8 to 10 months. We were originally supposed to go to Afghanistan, got swapped out to go to Iraq. We deployed in kind of the tail end of the surge, so 2009. It's like right at the end of the surge, right before the handoff, through kind of the handoff. And so the way I summarize that time is like, I think when I talk to other buddies who have deployed there at different periods of time, I'd like to think that perhaps we were there at like peak stupid, where we would go out on these missions and we would be told the number one thing to optimize for was not getting hurt. Just Americans had no appetite for soldiers getting hurt anymore. And I can remember talking to my captain and major and colonels and saying, well, if that's the thing we're optimizing for, just like, don't send us out. We might as well just sit here, because like we can't do our job if that's what you're telling us to do. And so I can hit some of the more insane stories from that time, but it's like, it just makes me so angry to think back on you were risking the lives of me and the guys beside me and under me, and for something that just like there didn't seem to be a purpose or a mission at that
Yeah,
point.
for what?
Yep.
For what? Did you see any kinetic activity over there?
So by the time we were there, most of the dumb ones had been killed. So we would have IEDs and mortars, but no sort of like direct engagements of any sort of substance. We would do, one of the highlights of stupidity to me was like they sent in a camera crew. We were going to go after this IED factory. And it's like, you just imagine it to be a certain thing. And you maybe have experienced something similar, but you're doing a factory raid. And so they took 2 of the platoons. They're under me. They're filming. We're doing the plan. We're getting the Humvees. We're rolling out. We're doing the cordon. We get to this place where they think they're making IEDs. We have the bolt cutters ready to go. We call up for the clearance, and we're told that the new rules of engagement that had gone into effect meant we couldn't cut this lock. That was a gym lock that was like the size of what my 7-year-old puts on her locker at school. And so we end up being told you can't break locks anymore. We get back in the Humvees, we drive back over these IED-laden roads, and it was like at that moment I was like, never again. Like we have got to fix this as a nation, because how could you possibly have risked all of these limbs and all of these lives and then let like a little tiny gym locker stop you from this mission?
Holy shit. That may be the most absurd fucking thing I've ever heard.
It makes my blood boil.
There's a lock here,
to this
guys.
day. Yeah.
Let them keep making IEDs.
100%.
We're out.
Yep.
What the
It's fucking
wow.
crazy.
Wow. Just
It's maddening.
unbelievable.
And then now from this seat, because basically the idea was come back, try to like get some experiences, come back and make a little bit of difference. And you see how those types of preposterous decisions are output from our training to how we procure things to how our missions come to be. Very few people along the line think that they are leading to that sort of stupid outcome. But because few people own it, and because very few of the decision makers center themselves around, well, wait a second, before I decide this thing, how does it actually impact the O1, the O2, the E4? What are they going to have to do with what I am saying now? And that has been one of the things that with General George, we have tried to do with every decision, is start to model the behavior of, I don't actually care how it impacts you and your Pentagon job. I want to know, how does it impact a soldier in the field who actually has to do the thing or carry the thing or train with the thing that you're talking about?
Man, that's good to hear. That's great to hear. Hasn't been like that in a long time. So I don't know if I've ever seen it, but so that's commendable. Thank you for doing that.
No, we'll see if it works. We're trying our best.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, from our breakfast conversation that a lot of the the brute workforce of the military or the Army is pretty damn happy that you're in there. So
they're incredible. I think that most of these problems are complex, and there's a lot of blame to go around, and we can cover that part whenever you want. But the upside is the American soldier. Like, I can say this with a completely straight face and not trying to be sycophantic. After getting out, ended up going to fancy law schools and working with fancy law firms and consultants and venture-backed companies. And you meet all of these really talented Americans who are good at their niches. But I would say, like, having been out for 14, 15 years and coming back and seeing the average American soldier, I would bet on them every single time to solve any problem our nation has. I mean, they are so talented. They are so innovative.
no matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.